Battlefield 6 is a very chaotic game. There's always something happening around you, whether that be enemies shooting at you or the building you're standing in literally crumbling around you. This can all be pretty intimidating to new players. So today I want to go over some great tips for new Battlefield 6 players or anyone who might just be having a hard time getting started in the game. But first, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more Battlefield 6 videos just like this one, subscribe to this channel. Now the first tip is going to be an extremely basic one. If you have gone into Battlefield 6's multiplayer, you have more than likely had a hard time with combat, dying over and over, not landing shots with your weapons, and struggling with mechanics. If this is something that you're experiencing, the best thing that you can do to make the multiplayer a little bit easier is to go and play the game's campaign. Like I said, this is a very basic tip, but if you're new to the Battlefield series, the campaign is a great way to play with the weapons that you'll use in the multiplayer modes and get a better understanding of the game's systems and mechanics. You don't need to play the entire campaign as it isn't really anything special, but just playing the first few missions will help you get adjusted to the game. I really don't think anyone buys Battlefield games for the campaign, but it can be a good way to get ready for the multiplayer. Once you move back to the multiplayer side of Battlefield, the best thing that you can do at first is to make sure you're playing the right class. Now there isn't a wrong class to play, but as a new player, some classes will be a lot better than others. Many new players are going to be coming from other shooters like Call of Duty, and they will dive right into the Recon class. And while sniping on Battlefield's large maps is a lot of fun, I would probably avoid the Recon class at first. And that's because if you spend a majority of the match laying on a roof of a building waiting for enemies that you can take out from a distance, you aren't actually learning anything about the game. You aren't getting knowledge of the map, you aren't learning how to fight or survive in gunfights, and you may not even understand the objective of the game mode that you're playing. Now the 4 classes in Battlefield are the Assault class, which is a fast-paced frontline fighter which can carry 2 primary weapons. They are great at attacking objectives and can use explosives and gadgets to destroy the environment or help teammates. The Engineer class is the vehicle and destruction expert. They can use launchers that will destroy buildings and both air and land vehicles, which will really help your team. But they also come with a blowtorch that can be used to heal friendly vehicles. The Support class is exactly how it sounds. It's the class for players that want to support their teammates by resupplying them, reviving them, healing them, and providing suppressive fire with LMGs. And the Recon class is your standard long-range sneaky sniper class. Like I said, if you're a new player, I would avoid the Recon class at first because you want to learn the game. But the other 3 classes are great for new players. The Support class is amazing and your team always needs people to play as support. New players can do really well with the Support class, but in my opinion there's a lot of responsibility with the Support class, and your teammates will be looking at you to live up to those responsibilities. Like reviving downed players and making sure your team has supplies. If you're a new player and you want more responsibility, then go with the Support class. Engineer is the class that I mainly play as, and it's a very easy and fun class to play. It's actually very simple. Attack objectives, and while you're doing that, heal friendly vehicles that you see, and shoot rockets at enemy vehicles. And along the way, leave landmines in the roads to take out more enemy vehicles. Or you can spawn on friendly vehicles and assist them as the gunner, and when they take damage, just jump out and heal them, then get back to the gun. The Assault class is another great option for new players because all you'll need to do is just attack objectives and kill enemies. The ability for the Assault class to use 2 primary weapons also lets you try out new weapons from other classes to get more practice with combat. But to be honest, you can and should play any class that you want, and you can swap classes as much as you want in a match. So play the class that you want to play, but if you're having a hard time, try spending time on different classes to see if that improves. And as you play the game more and more, you'll start to do better with every class. Now let's move on to some tips that you can use in the game. And first I want to talk about the right way to revive your teammates. Reviving is very important in Battlefield 6 because it actually helps you stop your team from losing points. During a match of Conquest, for example, you will see your team score at the top of the screen. The blue score is your team score and the orange is the enemy team score. In Battlefield, these scores are actually called tickets, and one ticket is used when a teammate respawns, which brings your team score down. But if you revive a down teammate, your team won't use a ticket, which won't bring your team score down. So reviving your teammates is very important. But like I said, there is a right and a wrong way to revive your teammates. The wrong way is to rush to your teammates and revive them right away as soon as they die, and it should be pretty obvious as to why this is the wrong way to do it. If that teammate is dead, the player that killed them is more than likely still in that area and can see the body of the downed teammate. So if you go in and pick them up right away, it will either result in you getting yourself killed too, or you revive the teammate and the enemy player kills you both again. The right way to revive is to get close to the teammate that you want to revive, then look at that teammate and press the ping button that will be marked right here. This will tell your teammate that you intend to revive them and that they should wait for you. Once you do this, take some time to look around and deal with any nearby enemies, then when it's safe, go for the revive. If you're playing as the support class, make sure you use a smoke grenade before going for a revive to make reviving your teammates a lot safer. And as a bonus tip, if you're downed, don't instantly respawn. Because like I said, when you respawn, you're actually taking points away from your team. Instead, sit there for a little bit and wait to see if one of your nearby teammates will revive you. And if there are no nearby teammates, then feel free to instantly respawn. Bullet drop is something that most new Battlefield players will struggle with. The further away your target is, the higher that you will need to aim above them to account for bullet drop to make sure that your bullet will travel that far distance and still hit your target. This is something that you will mainly be dealing with when using rifles and sniper rifles with the Recon class. So it's important to know that when dealing with long-range targets, you'll need to zero your weapon, which you can do by pressing the button that you'll see right here on your screen. This button will make shooting long distances much easier and reduce the effects of bullet drop. The best way to use this is to ping the enemy or the area that you will be shooting at to gauge the target's range. Then press the button to match that range. For example, if you ping an enemy and they are 200 meters away, you can press that button once to zero your weapon to 200 meters. Then you can shoot that enemy just like normal and not have to worry about bullet drop. But if you want to make this process easier, open the settings and go to key bindings. Then go to rangefinder zeroing if zoomed. Set this key binding to a key that you can easily hit while aiming. Then when aiming at an enemy, hit that key to instantly set your weapon zeroing to that target's distance to make your weapon much more accurate. Like I said, Battlefield 6 can be a very chaotic game. One minute you can feel safe, and the next a tank and a group of enemies can be swarming you, so you need to know how to get away from danger quickly. Weapon types will have different weights, which will affect your movement speed, but if you hold down your melee button, which is the F key on the keyboard, you will put away your gun and pull out your knife. This will greatly increase your movement speed, allowing you to get away from danger fast. Or you can use it to rush to your teammates or to objectives. A big change in Battlefield 6 is open weapons. This means that any class can use any weapon, but of course each class will have their signature weapon type that they will do better with, like sniper rifles for recon and SMGs for engineers. But because of this, you will need to know which weapons are worth using. When I first started in Battlefield 6, I would use whatever I felt like at the time, but I would lose a lot of gunfights to players using better weapons. Then once I started using those weapons, I did a lot better. For medium to long range weapons, you will want the M4A1 or the AK205. For close range, you will want the PW5A3 or the SGX. Or any shotgun, but the M87A1 is a very strong shotgun. And the M2010 ESR is the best sniper rifle. So if you find yourself losing a lot of gunfights, try swapping to one of these weapons, as it could help a lot regardless of the class that you're playing as. A general rule of thumb in Battlefield 6 is that if you can enter a building, it can be destroyed. This is something that you always need to be aware of to protect yourself, but also to use to your advantage. You might feel safe in a small building, but that building can be completely wiped out in seconds, so don't feel too safe. But also, if you see enemies using a building for cover, feel free to use explosives to take that building down to flush those enemies out. Suppressing enemies is something that I really don't see many players do in Battlefield 6. And what I mean by suppressing enemies is firing at them or their location. Many people will only shoot at enemies when they see them, but even if you don't see them, but you know where they are, you should fire at them. Because that suppresses them, which actually makes it so they won't heal over time, which will keep their health low for one of your teammates to flank them for an easy kill. You can also use this to help yourself. If you're trapped in an area and being shot at and your health is low, try to get away as quickly as you can to start healing. Many other shooter games like Call of Duty really make your KD a priority. So when you're dying often and not getting kills in Battlefield 6, you won't help but feel like you're doing bad. But in Battlefield games, KD really isn't that important. Sure, it's good to get more kills than deaths, but the important thing and the thing that ranks you higher on your team's leaderboard is how much you contribute to your team's victory. This means that you will actually rank higher on your leaderboard by doing things like claiming objectives, reviving teammates, destroying vehicles, and anything else that will help your team win. I've actually ended the match in the number 1 spot on my team multiple times with more deaths than kills, but I would spend the entire match capturing objectives and reviving teammates as the support class. So don't worry too much about your KD, as it doesn't really matter as much as other shooter games, and instead focus on playing the objective of the game mode that you're in. And the last tip that I have for you today is to communicate with your team and squad. Now, I don't mean that you actually have to hop on the mic and give callouts, but if you see enemies, ping them for your squad so they know where they are, and you can also hold down your ping button, which is the Q key on PC, to open up your callout menu. And from here you can request ammo, healing, and much more. This way your teammates will know exactly what you need and they won't have to guess. But those are some great tips for new players in Battlefield 6. But if you have some tips that I didn't mention in this video, leave them in the comments to help out the new players. I hope this video has helped you, and thank you for watching.